I make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're now back in session.
Make any decision?
We did not.
No, we did not. So we have a bunch of things on here, and we've chosen to take a few because of an interest of time of the night, and we're going to table a large majority of this. We're going to. Do I just say that I table them? And,
Sure.
All right. Public input, we're going to table. Mail, we're tabling. Complaints, there was a letter.
We know.
Unfinished business. The one planning board. Oh, and ARPA, wait a minute. Just hold on. Please, thank you. ARPA funding, we're going to table that. Planning board request for ordinance amendment to be put to town vote. John?
I went through the new charter, and there's some discrepancy in that on section 3.5D. It says that basically the select board doesn't have anything to do with zoning ordinances in the new charter. So given that, we've been under the thinking that it did. And then if you go from there into check ordinances, it basically supports what you guys are doing. And I thought the new charter changed that as well as other people did. And I just brought it forward, and we're gonna research it and see.
Yeah, I got it.
John, when you get around to it, check section 202 of this existing charter and section 701.
Are you differentiating between zoning ordinance?
This charter.
You said we were going by the new charter.
I didn't say we were going by the new charter. I said that the new charter has a procedure in place. We should wait for the new charter, is what I said.
But Dave, your new charter procedure does not do zoning ordinances.
It gives it to the ORC.
No, it does not, sir. In your new charter, all you mention is regular ordinances. And I mean, we don't need that argument right now. But there's enough discrepancy there that the board sitting here tonight thought that it would be worth checking out and going from there.
Okay.
I will say, so I have to have the warrant complete by May 1st, which is your next meeting, and then you guys will sign it then. You can insert things into your town warrant for budget, for money articles. Your current charter, it can't be less than 45 days before a town meeting. So that would mean May 1st is your deadline for any money articles being inserted into your warrant. For non-money articles, it's 30 days. So it gives you till May 16th. If you want to, if you sign the warrant May 1st and you decide to make an amendment and insert another article in there, you can do that, but you have a limited time.
We could
Okay.
do that at our May 15th meeting,
Right.
theoretically. I'm talking out loud
Mhm.
because
My apologies for the interruption. Is that the 3.5D
Yeah,
in the new chart?
yes, sir.
Refer to that. Thank you.
So based on this information, John has recommended that we table it for tonight, research it, and well, I guess we'll do what the schedule so we can try to meet everything, and we'll have.
Because
Yeah, I guess you're correct on that. It talks,
right.
it says 3.5D says, with the exception of zoning ordinances and ordinances enacted by initiative. This is under the enumeration of responsibilities for the board, which is the. select board.
Right.
So those are accepted, and then under 315C, 3153, it gives the proposals for new modifications or revocations of any ordinance, and that gives three ways to do it. One is select board initiative, the other is planning board initiative, and then, actually four ways, and it puts the ordinance review committee. But that's the one that requires the 75 signatures, and that doesn't go into effect until July 1st.
But that's ordinances, not zoning ordinances, and everything you have made a differentiation between the two. And then if you go to your ordinances, and Lindsay's got my research on that, it lays it out. So the way it looks like it's laid out is there's a definite division of powers there. And I don't know what the intent of the Charter Commission was, but it looks like what they did only affects ordinances such as, I don't know, sex offender ordinances, noise ordinances, road, stuff like that. It doesn't affect zoning. So, and I mean, there's just enough doubt there that I'm sure everybody'd like to clarify it.
All I can say is we followed the planning board followed the procedures.
Yes.
In the zoning ordinance, we proposed it under the current charter. We met all the requirements, we've had the public hearing, et cetera, et cetera. We've jumped through all the hoops, we've tried this the third time. I say again, the third time this has come before the select board. And you may have your reasons for not approving it and putting it on, but both the old charter and the new charter talks about the will of the people. The will of the people, in my opinion, is the voters that vote.
Absolutely.
And if the will of the people is not even heard because it hasn't gotten through the select board to go on the ballot, the will of the people isn't heard.
Correct.
If that's the correct terminology, but it's not personal, but I just, you try it three times, you've got a problem, you're trying to fix the doggone problem, which is currently in violation of state law, charter. What more can we do? I mean, it's very frustrating to keep bringing this up. It's the third meeting I've come to. This is the ordinance review committee meeting tonight, which I could have gone to. I didn't realize it was going to be executive session all this time, but it's not the end of the world one way or the other. We don't have any pending projects under this contract zone, but who's to say we aren't going to get one in July or something like that? We'll have to deal with it under the wording, which is improper.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Joe had more.
So we're still operating under the existing charter.
Correct.
And say if this is postponed and entertained after the new charter goes into effect on July 1st, we can be confronted with a proposal that runs contrary to the sentiments of the people. And nothing could be done directly in terms of adjusting that language in the ordinance until November of 2024.
No, that's not addressed in zoning ordinances. That's what I'm saying. Your new charter does not change the zoning ordinance piece.
I'm afraid I can't agree with you on that.
That's not true, John.
Can't agree with you, John.
Really? Because that D, that's in your new charter.
No.
It's, no, I got.
Look, we've been over this a hell of a lot, okay? Dawn, I respect you. I hope you know that. The will of the people is not the few, it's the many. And the whole purpose is to get it in front of more people than less. As for the charter itself, this language has been in there for 9.5 years. Never once was it brought up. 9.5 years. Now, a few months prior to it being actually changed, you want to change something. I think in the spirit of really bringing it to the people and explaining it to the people and showing them that there is a process and it's not willy-nilly, I say, let it stand, let the ORC do their job. There is no emergency. You keep crying about it as if it's an emergency. The town council did not state that.
I think there's confusion, Dave, in what you're saying as far as charter versus what they're proposing is ordinance, right? That's not 9.5.
The change to the
years.
Lyman zoning ordinance.
Correct.
Regarding contract zoning.
Correct.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It was,
Okay.
it was worded 9.5 years ago
Okay.
in this charter
No, it
in
wasn't.
2012.
Zoning ordinance wasn't worded. Anyway,
All right.
everyone knows how I feel about this. I would feel comfortable. Listen, you all know I fully support what you're proposing. I would like to see the full board here to take a public vote on it. That's where, because let's face, we all know how that's going to go tonight. How does a tie go? It just dies. Correct?
But could I just address one thing that
Absolutely.
Dave said about the emergencies? Again, it's in the realm of hypothetical, but maybe it's not so hypothetical. It was the last example I gave you. I was before this body 2 meetings ago. Was a proposal for adult use marijuana. Okay. On November 3rd of last year, an attorney, Hannah King of Denton, Bingham, and Greenbound, representing the owner of medical marijuana dispensary over on Route 111 headquarters, inquired about the adoption of an adult use ordinance for marijuana being added to our town ordinance. At the time, the planning board mentioned that the town had previously rejected social clubs and essentially adult use. We expressed to Councilor King that the matter could be taken up with it through the referendum process. And I remember speaking directly to her that also the select board could bring up the matter. And I advised that she inform the select board of that proposal. So you wouldn't be blindsided by it when all of a sudden you got a referendum in front of you. Now, I don't believe Ms. King or the owner at headquarters has pursued that, but in the conversation with Polly, the town clerk, she informed me when we were talking about referendum coming up statewide this November, mentioned that someone contacted her about a request to take out papers for an adult use ordinance. Okay, say if they got the requisite signatures, 260 signatures, something like that, goes on the ballot this November. Okay, it once again is defeated by the sentiments of the people there. Right afterwards, someone comes in with a proposal for adult use, saying, oh, that language, not limited, but not limited to, opens the door to this. And my sentiments are, open doors or invitations. We have in the first condition that we put on any notice of decision from the planning board reads, approval is dependent upon and limited to the proposals and plans contained in this application. When we first adopted this, the language that we have right now, there's a product, and Don, your recollection, help me out here, of going to other towns about our size, seeing what they had, seeing what towns larger had, and trying to synthesize something that would fit us, and also would fit the state regulations. Okay, and we came up with this language. The first statement about land being unusual in nature should have been written. The proposal is somehow out of the ordinary. Is consistent with the comprehensive plan, that stays as is. But that language, but is not limited to, again, opens the doors to things that we can, public sentiment expressly vote against. But still, there's, I think, a legal exposure for us to be challenged on that with that open door. That's my sentiments on it.
I guess the only thing else I would say, I certainly would assume that the planning board sent a letter to the, we did this in May last year, I think, we tried to get on the ballot then. We've sent letters with our proposal, and we let it die once. I would prefer that a full board vote on it to get an idea of who's in favor, who's not. It's clear to me that the planning board should follow the ordinance as written, and that the select board should follow the charter as written. And also, I would assume you would back up the planning board, if we do our due diligence. We're all town employees here. Planning board is, the select board is. We're not fighting with each other. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We should be cooperating as much as possible. And we all have the interests of the town at heart, as far as I know. And, no, I mean, I'm talking with the planning board. And if it's, and really, if somebody comes with a proposal, even if it's not popular, we go through the process and we get public hearings. Sometimes we get negative input, sometimes we don't get any input. We try to follow the doggone rules, and we've had some good projects here. I think if you go down to 111 and 35, you'll see a couple of good projects there. Those guys were professional. They followed and they've done everything they've said, as far as I can tell. And they're gonna, hopefully their taxes are gonna go way up, which will keep our taxes here. So we're trying to follow the rules, but I just don't, we got a hole here we need to fill. And we're telling you that now. Maybe nothing will happen until 24 and everything will be beautiful. But somebody could come in and say, hey, your language says this. We're challenging you. And we didn't get one this time. We did have one from Mr. House. He withdrew it. So I thought that was appropriate, but that was his decision. He withdrew it. He could have maybe gone to court, maybe not. I don't know. It's up to him. But it's not personal at all. It's just a whole.
Point of order. Point of order.
Okay, all right, point of order.
Anyhow, it's not
All
personal.
right, so we will table this for a full board vote,
Please take a look.
and we'll do the research that John has presented and recommended. Clarify it. So I had to stay so late.
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you.
Okay, Stagecoach Road tabled, IT committee tabled, Bunganut committee tabled, YMCA contract revisions.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to make a decision tonight, but if you look at, we contacted our insurance company. So we have two conflicting things. Our town attorney says, he'd prefer not to change the language that the YMCA is recommending in there. But our insurance says we're basically covered under municipal immunity. So YMCA, as long as they have a certificate of liability for their programs, their, whatever you call it, their YMCA programs, they're not going to be responsible for the general public, which is what the YMCA is. They wanted to make sure that nothing was going to come back on them.
Correct.
So our insurance provider says there won't be. That general public stuff that might come up will be covered under courts and also our insurance liabilities. So we can keep with the contract as Brad Moran had crossed out and made recommendations, or we could go back and maybe uncross what the YMCA had originally put in there. It was really just generalizing that, they're going to be liable for their programs, but not for the general public.
Mhm.
I'd like the board to take a look at the wording of town council. He uses the word assuming, which is concerning. And if we do get the insurance provider to validate and notarize, on their letterhead, the change, that the municipal still has immunity, that's one thing. But I think we got to look at the language that the attorney actually said. I think assuming isn't clarifying anything.
Right. The insurance company did look at the contract that we have with the YMCA, and they looked at the verbiage that the YMCA put in there. And so they felt fine with it. They spoke with myself and Jeanette. The only thing that buildings, if something happened to the buildings, it wouldn't be like a torts, it wouldn't be a municipal immunity thing. It would come under our insurance if, I don't know, a building just burned down or something. But so what the YMCA is really worried about is like general public and being responsible for them. So you don't have to make a decision on it tonight, but I think we do need to figure something out with this contract, because the YMCA is going to open, the end of May, pretty
Yeah.
soon here.
Did we
And,
let them know this information? Because I think that's where we kind of left it
yeah,
after.
I did talk to Andy over the
Yeah.
phone. But, you know, just kind of left it with, it's up to you guys, you know, what do we want to do with this language? So maybe, it, you know, it might be carried over to the next meeting, but, it's really up to you guys.
I'm okay with carrying it to the next meeting.
Yeah, I'm
Check
okay
it.
too.
If we want to just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need any more information on that stuff, like Dave had mentioned?
Yeah, I guess I just want to know if they're going to be okay. Like if we just, will they sign it knowing,
Will the YMCA sign it?
right,
Knowing what?
knowing that we want to strike all this language, knowing that we are responsible for ourselves and our property and anything that happens on it, they're responsible for their program specifically.
I don't know, I can't speak for them, but, you know, I can talk with Andy about it.
Because I feel like that's kind of where we left it when we talked, but I also know their insurance company is kind of the ones driving.
Yeah, I'd have to ask him. He felt good about, you know, when we talked to our insurance company and the conversation I had with them, you know, they did assure Jeanette and I that municipal immunity would come first.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he felt good about that.
Do you think the insurance, that's a tough question to ask you, but would the insurance company put that in official writing to us? For the record?
You know, it's gonna be like, when you're talking to underwriters.
I know,
Right.
that's right. I knew it was kind of a, but, I mean, they've put something here in writing to us in this email, but. Now, let's just look at it, see what you can,
Yeah,
please.
okay.
Okay. You guys all set with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Department and committee reports, we're tabling all those. New business, open RFPs for IT service. Okay. We have 8 of them. You guys want
Oh, yeah.
3 at a time?
Sure. Mhm.
No, we got an opener, if you guys want an opener, sorry.
Eh.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin my,
I just don't want to put that.
okay.
Ugh.
Here we go again. Corporate profile. So the request was, I don't see a copy of our request.
There wasn't like a specific sheet to respond to.
To respond to, I just see
it
on mine here, I have a total cost for managed services support for first year, and then a cost for managed services support for second year onward.
Right.
Okay,
Some of it,
I think,
maybe I
This-
can compile it.
yeah, this is gonna be
yeah,
a
I think
big,
we're gonna need to workshop
Yeah,
this
we're not gonna
because
do it,
yeah,
But we do have to open them, so.
all right, so we don't have to go through and read everything, or, okay.
Should say who they're from.
Yeah, I was gonna say that mine is from Golden 5 LLC out of San Pedro, California.
okay.
Mine's from SPN
Should we-
Solutions Incorporated, Fairfax Boulevard, Fairfax, Virginia.
Are we not saying cost then? Okay.
Well,
I
I mean,
haven't found it yet.
I've got money
Yeah.
all over the board here.
Me too.
She
but-
said she was gonna summarize things.
Okay.
Said all we have to do is open them.
We
Good.
get- Yeah, maybe. get
I've
'em on a
got
spreadsheet.
Communications Square, and they are out of Sheridan, Wyoming.
I'm not putting that in. Where was yours from again? What was your name of yours?
Virginia.
I gave you the list.
I know, I'm just checking them off here.
Yeah. SPN Solutions,
Okay,
Virginia.
Virginia, okay. Boom.
Thank you.
Yes, that. Okay, that.
You feeling left out, Dave?
Yeah, which one did you open, Dave?
I'm opening them all. I'm opening them all. I'm watching you.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Okay. Mine's all about IT Inc. out of Houston, Texas.
All over the country. Wow.
Reaching far and wide these days. I have Bean Data out of Grade, Maine.
Yay.
I've got BTS out of Bath, Maine.
Who is it?
BTS.
Oh, BTS Burgess Technology. Good.
Yeah, Burgess Technology Services.
Okay.
I just read the big words.
Oh, there's more.
Thank you.
It looks fancy.
I've got J. Curran, Marco, I guess, is the trade name out of Middleton, Pennsylvania. Marco Technologies LLC.
And
I got one that says Soft Stages
I
Technology.
have Soft Stages
Okay.
Technology out of Malvern, Pennsylvania.
No. This one said St. Cloud. It had a question mark. That must be that one.
Yeah, some of them weren't labeled on the.
Okay. So, all right, there were 8 on the list and we opened up 8.
Good deal.
You don't want, no.
No, just, oh, yeah, just give it to me. So
I
that's
don't know if you want to put that in
Yeah,
a
I'll put it-
pile somewhere
uh,
in case, because it's stamped.
Okay. Other side. RSU election warrants, review and approve.
There's 2. So those, what you got, I don't know if you're gonna have to like, I would think you'd have to make a motion and approve them.
Which,
Uh,
those are,
They're already hanging out on the board. Over here.
All these?
The warrants for the school board.
Yep.
Anyways, so this was provided by the town clerk, and she said you guys need to review and approve them, and then you have to sign like a dozen copies of the same ones, so that she
Oh.
can attest it and post it in the various locations.
gotcha.
So in your agenda packet, you will just see the one copy and the one copy.
Gotcha.
If you go through what Tom's going through, it's like, it's just,
That's a bazillion copies.
right.
That we
they're
sign
all the same.
because of it.
Okay. So these,
They're
how many
two-
different ones are there?
There's 2.
There's 2. Okay, let's see. Okay,
All right,
warrant.
what's the difference? What do we got?
There's one warrant and notice of eligibility.
You're gonna do the motions.
Good thing you have a town clerk.
Okay, Article 1A is to elect a moderator to preside in said meeting. Article 1, do you favor approving the regional school unit 57 budget for the upcoming school year that was adopted at the latest
gonna make-
regional school budget
I'm
meeting.
gonna make a motion based on the titles, right? 'Cause
title?
They're different,
Yeah.
right? So I make a motion that we approve warrant and notice of election calling regional school unit number 57 budget validation referendum.
I'll second
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make
Okay.
a motion that we approve warrant and notice of election to call regional school unit number 57 referendum.
that. Second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So there's one that was budget, and then the other one was
Just general referendum.
just trying to get distinguishing between the two, so I can.
Mhm.
Holy moly. I'll just start
Yeah.
signing.
I think that's fine.
I don't know where it,
So, you wanna go through your
what's that?
agenda?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Did you wanna go through and finish your agenda?
Oh, okay, yeah, we can sign them at the end.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, we're going to table cleaning services discussion. Now, purchase order for the town report.
Yep.
That's under
Under D.
Yep.
D, new business.
Yeah.
Printing Center USA. We have Printing Center USA, $3,699.40. Edison, $4,366.07, and Copy at $6,265. And we have a budget of $6,000 available.
You've used Edison Press in the past, so if you wanna keep using them, you can. Printing Center USA we've not used before.
Where they are.
It's online,
Well,
and maybe you should see it.
We've had no issues that I know of with Edison Press.
So-
We're getting late enough in the game. I mean, just for me, I'd go with tried and true.
I agree.
You want a motion?
Yes.
I move we
Please.
stay with Edison Press for printing the town reports
I'll second.
for 436607. I'm sorry, I should have put that in there.
Jessica,
I'll
second.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then the rest of our appointments, and we will table those till next meeting. Different committees.
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Yes, Yes, sir.
But you did postpone public input.
And we did.
I just throw one thing out there. Our very able planning board clerk sent us an email not too long ago saying that there are a number of question and answer opportunities being provided by the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development on LD 2003. They're being held every Tuesday from 10 to 11, starting today, up until the end of May. I tuned in today and found that I had a misconception about where they were with the rules for LD 2003. Again, that's the law with respect to affordable housing and ADUs. The rule has been written. The rule-making time period was February 8th to March 13th. This is a sort of an informational session today. And the expectation of those who ran this, that was Hillary Gove and Ben April of the DECD, is that the Secretary of State's office will be publishing it faithfully tomorrow. So online Secretary of State's website should be the final rule. One thing that was brought up by a number of folks who tuned in this question and answer was our type of situation. We've got the town meeting coming up in June. If we need to make any kind of changes to our ordinance to comply with this, it's just not going to happen. And the essential feedback that they gave was that as best as we can, operate, the planning board should apply state rules and regulations, even though the town ordinance may not fully comply or address some of the issues there. So,
The other part of that is LD 214 that's made it through the House that they're gonna pick up again in the next session. And it's an emergency legislation which would exempt towns under 10,000 population from 2003. So,
I heard about that and I checked to see the status of that. And I didn't see any hearings or anything.
yeah, of course, they're not in session right now, but they're supposed to pick it up. It made it through the House.
There's also a provision for towns that don't have water.
So whether or not that is a sense line, I'm uncertain.
Right.
There's another couple of bills that deal with this. One, LD 665, which would postpone the application of this law until July 1 of 2025. But I would not count on that coming through. I was kind of feeling, I had a notion that did have some traction, but I think what we should do is operate on the reality that this thing does go into effect right now, as of July of this year. So just FYI.
Yeah, unless
Thank you.
214 goes through, so. But if it's
Thank you, Joe.
anything like the marijuana ordinances came from the state, we're gonna be all over the place and never have it in place for when we need it.
So,
I just have a quick way to do it. It's only candidate night. Can I organize one and use the room? I was just gonna ask that, your permission. That would be okay.
I don't have a problem with it.
You
guys have a problem with it?
Because your next meeting will be too late to get it going.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
graciously, Joe has agreed to be moderator. So.
Oh, I was like, wait, was that really a surprise? Oh, no.
So, I'm right here. All right, Lindsay, I'll be in touch. Okay.
Am I signing this for, no, never mind. Is it signing this for
No,
Rusty?
not
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Motion,
No, we have
Oh, we
to
have to
finish
sign- I'm sorry.
signing the pile.
9:15.
It's like,
You're good.
okay. Get a stamp. You're up.
Thank you.
Do you want our packets so you don't have to reproduce?
Can I ask a question since he's signing papers?
Pens?
How can you skip public input? Isn't this the public's house?
I don't know, Brian. If I did, I'm sorry, but we've had a lot on our plates tonight and we just wanted to push things through so we can all get out of here before 10 o'clock. Wasn't anything that it was devious or anything like that.
I'm not saying it was.
Well, it's,
We're still sitting here too with you, so.
yeah, I know. It's been a long night.
I don't sign that.
She said no.
Imagine how long Foley's night's gonna be.
Can you sign my purchase order for Edison Press?
I did.
Awesome.
There was only 2 purchase orders in there.
I wasn't sure which one you would pick.
Oh, we weren't gonna pick the high one.
Good, I can get that out there.
Thank you.
So many of them. think your shoulder's feeling better.
It's my phone.
Okay.
Actually, I'm actually working pretty much full time again.
Mm.
While we're still in session, are we going to, call either of those companies in, the architect engineer firms?
So if
Oh.
you remember, I sent out 2 emails, one from Custom Concepts, one from Port City. They both verified, you know, the bids that they sent to the board fell within the scope of work that was in the RFP. So you guys
Check these because we need you today.
will have to decide which bid you want to go
You
with.
do.
I guess that'll be on the agenda for next meeting, make a decision.
Yeah, that's
Well,
urgent.
can we meet them? If the board has any questions for them.
If you
Where are
want,
we?
Port City did come out and meet with Brad Nickel.
Yeah, I was on, I was
signed
there.
this. What else have I got in here to sign?
I can ask him if you want them to, but
You want like an interview?
I just, if you guys do, that's all. I'm just, instead of making a decision before,
I think we need to wait, don't we, and see what budget ends up being? Do we have budget?
I'm sorry, yeah. Say that again.
To keep going,
Jessica's saying, she's
We need to wait
asking,
for
do we have to
budget.
wait until the budget is approved?
What?
no, you don't need to do that.
No.
To award it,
Yeah, we can still do our due diligence.
to award it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I thought if, I thought we were going to, take it out of the capital fund if need be. But it's not like it's an emergency, but
No,
it
we'll
would
look at
be
it next
better
meeting.
to move it along, you know?
Yeah, we'll look at it next meeting. I haven't looked at the comparisons yet, myself, to be honest.
Are we done?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
See you Thursday.
Yes.
Yep.
It'll be fun.
okay.
Um,
Good work.
thanks.
Good night.